Here's one for you. So I made a video addressing a group of secondary school students over in Doha in the Middle East, because my brother runs a school over there, and the kids that are doing business studies asked me a heap of questions because they want to be business owners or entrepreneurs or whatever it is, and we had a bit of a back and forth, and that was fucking great. But what came out of the wash of that is I had half planned on going over to see my brother over and visiting Doha. I've never been there. He's been there 5 or 6 years. He's finishing up in a couple of months. So before he comes home for good, I want to go out and fucking have him show me around the place. And what we're planning on doing now is that I'll go over while he's still in school, and I'll actually address this group of students that I've had a bit of an online back and forth with in person. And they have a huge, big, world-class fucking 300-seat amphitheater over there, and I'm going to give some form of a TED Talk as such, a talk basically, which is cool. And if nothing comes of that, if that actually doesn't transpire, if I don't get to go over, or I do get to go over and it falls through or whatever, it doesn't really matter as far as I'm concerned, because the beauty of it from my perspective is, even if none of that happens, it's gotten the cogs turning. And the more things that I can involve myself with to get my cogs turning, that aren't big fucking stressors. I have enough big fucking stressors in my day-to-day, thanks. But that's kind of an extracurricular hobby almost. And it's nice for me to need to leave space in my head for things that aren't things that have to be done, because everything with the business has to be done all the goddamn time. So it's nice to have something to think about as a distraction, if nothing else, from your day-to-day. But another thing, interestingly enough, that's come out of the wash from uploading that video, and it's what I want to talk about now, is, so a friend of mine watched it, enjoyed it, and thought his employer would enjoy it. So he shared it with his employer and said basically that, check out this video, it's about starting your own business, it might resonate with you. And his employer got back saying, yeah, enjoyed that, your man's a good lad, black and white, and that was that. And my friend has since suggested to me, or since asked me, would I have any interest in speaking to his employer just about business generally. Now, given that his employer is an incredibly successful person, like the man has built what can only really be described as an empire. And that's not me blowing smoke up his ass. Like the man is fucking top tier level businessman. I was about to say in Ireland, but that'd be a bit of an injustice to him. In the world, like he's an elite level dude. And as far as I'm aware, at least, like I don't know the man, but my understanding is that he, much like myself, is absolutely fucking self-made. He got fuck all of a dig out from anybody, as far as I'm aware. And whatever bit of a dig out if he did get one, like he's made good on that return, a billion-fold. So my friend asked me, would I have any interest in talking to him? If he had any interest in talking to me, my reaction was abso-fucking-lutely I would. Jesus, wet. 5 minutes in that man's company, you wouldn't know what you learn. So I said, by all means. Now, I haven't heard back, and I likely won't hear back. Or when I do hear back, it'll be, I said it to him, but he's too busy fucking empire building, which will be perfectly fine. My expectation is there's half a chance he might want to meet me for a coffee, possibly sometime in the next decade. What's your diary like? My 2023, 4, 5 and 6 jammers, fucking see in 27 is likely going to be his reply. But again, like the potential talk in Doha, it's got the brain whizzing away. So what I'm left thinking now is, what if I get a phone call from an unknown number and it's this guy saying, are you around in the next 20 minutes for a coffee? Now, I'm kind of exaggerating that to hammer it home to myself. Like, what if I got a phone call like that? Like, I drop fucking pretty much everything within reason and go meet the man. But I don't want to come up with what I want to talk to him about on the fucking drive over. And there's something to that. There's something... What it reminds me of is a great question to pose to yourself. If you could try anything and you were guaranteed not to fail, what would it be? Let's say it's a new business. Let's say you were to chat up some young one and try and get her to marry you. You know, maybe it was some athletic thing. Maybe you want to run the 100 meters faster than fucking anybody's ever ran it before. Pick one. Doesn't matter. But you're guaranteed not to fail. You get one shot and you're guaranteed not to fail. I think it's a really good thought experiment. What would it be? Because what it essentially makes you do is line up all your hopes, dreams and aspirations in a hierarchy with, you know, the best one at the fucking top. Because we all have these notions of what we'd like, but we don't have them ranked. Do you know, oh, you know, winning the lotto might be your one, let's say. Oh yeah, fucking 5 million quid would be class. What about 10 million? Would that not be classer? You want to set up your own business? Oh, brilliant, yeah. What do you want to do? You're guaranteed to succeed. So what is it? Are you going to fucking buy and sell skyscrapers? Are you going to open up a sweet shop? You know, are you going to open up a martial arts gym? Like what are you going to do? You're guaranteed not to fail. And I think this is a question that should be posed to secondary school kids. And I might actually include that in this talk that I may or may not be giving to these students over in Doha. Ask yourself, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Because I think that's a really searing, cutting way of getting through a load of fucking bullshit to what you actually would fucking love to do. Because you ask somebody what would they love to do, and myself included, it's a question I have to ask myself. I suppose, what would I do if I couldn't fail? I'm going to ask myself now, live. Blow up the business. Blow it up. End up with, you know, half a dozen operation managers running half a dozen different businesses and build a fucking empire. Do what this other guy does. I'm not going to mention his name or my friend's name because I'm sure they'd sooner not be mentioned, and if they want to be mentioned, I'll ask them when I meet them. But build an empire, and not out of ego, but out of helping other people. Like, I'd love to give mates of mine the opportunity to run a multi-million euro company. I'd love to have 10 multi-million euro companies and have mates of mine fucking running them. And there's a couple of people that I know have aspirations of setting up their own businesses, and I'd love nothing more than to give them a dig out. I've already got a spin-out business from my own business. Shout out to past guest and friend of the show, Des Seepersad, who has a full-time business now, building climbing frames for families. He's up and down the country selling this stuff, and it's working out. And he started that business while working with me. I gave him space, I gave him access to tools, I gave him a lend of the van. I couldn't help the man more. And the reason that I couldn't help the man more is because he was fucking keen and eager, and he was doing it anyway. That's the key thing, I think. The people who need the most help are the people the people who deserve the most help are the people doing it anyway. When people need a hand to get started, they don't deserve it, as far as I'm concerned. And that's an interesting one now for me to kind of mull over. Because I've tried to help people start something. And in hindsight, they wouldn't have even tried if I wasn't there fucking holding their hand. And again, with the benefit of hindsight, there are people that I shouldn't have tried to help. And anyone that I would even hope to help in the future will be somebody who's done it however half-arsed or however poorly, but they've done it anyway, without any help from anyone. But again, in closing, I suppose the main guiding thread of what I'm trying to get across, the sentiment, the gist, which is all I'm ever trying to impart to anybody listening, or indeed my fucking self, is this idea of putting yourself in a position to capitalize on any little bit of fortune that you might get. So you're waiting for a fucking bus, or you're waiting for a taxi, or you're killing time in a hotel lobby before a meeting, whatever it is, you bump into somebody on the street. You have a chance encounter with somebody that will hand you fucking, or is in a position to hand you an opportunity or money or advice or whatever it is, an introduction to somebody else. What are you going to say to them? What's your elevator pitch? Are you going to bump into a massively successful businessman, Richard Branson or fucking Elon Musk? You bump into Elon Musk one day. Is it going to be, oh, hello, Elon, I've seen you on the internet. Electric cars and rockets. Well done. Or are you going to say, hey, Elon, you wouldn't mind if I pick your brain on this thing that I'm fucking thinking about or trying to get up off the ground or whatever the fuck it is, and replace Elon Musk with fucking Joe Rogan or Oprah or Barack Obama or, you know, fucking everyone and fucking anyone. And it's another thing that I'm going to have to get my head around is how can I improve how I go about my life to increase the likelihood of these potential things happening. That's all it is. How do you increase and it's just increase. How do you just increase the likelihood? That's all it is. How do you increase the likelihood of potentially good things happening to you? Because if you can make a habit out of doing that, if you can make a habit of increasing the likelihood of good things happening to you, well, then you've got a fucking bright future. And on that note, I'll chat to you soon.